from Los Angeles, California, Andy Marzich. From San Pablo, California, Vern Downing. Two more of the world's greatest bowlers on championship bowling in a three-game match from the Firestone Bowl-A-Rama lanes in Akron, Ohio.
Hello, everybody, and welcome once again from Akron, Ohio. It's championship bowling. This is Fred Wolf. We have two more of our field of the world's greatest bowlers in match game competition, a purse of over $70,000. This week, as usual, $1,000 to the winner, $500 to the runner-up. 5 strikes in any game in succession, $250, and $50 for every strike on top of the 5. A 300 score is worth $10,000. All competition is sanctioned by the American Bowling Congress. These bowlers all make 2 appearances. Total pins for the 6 games qualify our 2 finalists with a $15,000 added purse during the final 2 weeks of championship bowling here in Akron, Ohio. Working with us this week from Fresno, California, Ed Bourdet. Edward, how are you? Good to be here. Being a great believer in hypnosis as you are, you don't have to worry about running the machine this week. You're just going to sort of watch your 2 Californians battle it out here.
Well, somebody from California has to win this match, Fred.
Yeah, I can see that. We're California all the way. Let's meet these fellas. Bring them out here. In the meantime, Ed, I'll see you up there in the booth. Introducing, ladies and gentlemen, from San Pablo, California, Vern Downing. Vern? How are you, sir? You have an opponent here from Los Angeles or Redondo Beach. I don't know where all these places are, but they're in California. Andrew Jackson Marzich. Andrew, how are you? Very good. Or is it Andrew John?
That's Andrew John.
Andrew John. I'm sorry, I got that mixed up. You're from California? Let's get in here so we can talk, shake hands, fellas. Where is San Pablo, Vern?
That's about 20 miles north of San Francisco.
North of San Francisco.
North, right.
Where is Redondo Beach?
Well, it's about 12 miles south of Los Angeles.
Everything's north and south of Los Angeles or San Francisco. It doesn't make much difference. I know both you boys are ready. How about it, Akron? The first game of 3. A little encouragement. We're off. Andy Marzich resides in Redondo Beach, California, bowls out of Los Angeles, one of the real great stars of this day, in there and kicks the 4-7 out of there. Oh, that thing was a little tight. Ed Bourdet working with us this week. Ed, of course, was a finalist on championship bowling in the Winston-Salem series. So, Ed, you got a couple of boys here from your home state. I think you should know both these boys very well.
Yes, I bowled with Vern for 3 years.
7-pin. He got a piece of it. So Downing loses a shaker. Born in Hillsburg, California, 70 miles north of San Francisco, Vern has been around the San Francisco area most of his life. Bowled in the National Bowling League with the Fresno Bombers and a teammate of Ed Bourdet, along with Bill Bonetta. Who else was on that team, Ed?
Billy Hardwick was another member of that team.
At the 7-pin, Downing has the spare. Moving to the left, a former bank teller, Vern Downing. That's quite a switch, isn't it, Ed? From counting dollar bills to going out and trying to win them.
Well, he's got a little easier job, and I think the pay is a little bit better, Fred.
Member of the Professional Bowlers Association, member of the AMF Staff of Champions, Vern Downing. Father of 4 children. A little tight, leaves the 6-10. Started as a pin boy in 1947. 1 year later, he was averaging .201. Won the North California Open in 1961. Was runner-up in the Boston event to Andy Marzich, incidentally. His opponent here this week, So there's a chance for Downing to get even. Runner-up in the Indianapolis Open in 1963 to Les Slisher. There's the cover. Downing now is 18 spare. Marzich coming in on the right side. Andy has a 218 average for 12 games on championship bowling. His high three, 740. His high single, 279. Trying for the double. There it is. Andy Marzich, Andrew John. Andy was born in Cleveland in 1935, went to California in 46, started as a pin boy at the Hawthorne Bowl. At 17, he averaged 200. If my memory serves me correctly, Ed, weren't you sitting with us in the, was it the Winston-Salem series?
Parkersburg.
Parkersburg series.
Yes.
4-pin.
I worked with you and Andy Bowl. I think he shot 740.
740, that's right.
He told me to come up here and say something good about him this time.
Well, it's easy to do. He's a real fine boy. All he likes to talk about is the tour he made in 1964 for the State Department when he went to Japan, Okinawa, Korea, Hawaii, with Billy Whaley, Jimmy St. John. Had quite a trip. The cover. So we're at the end of 3. Marzich is 49 spare. Vern Downing moving in on the right side on 2 spares. Downing lost a 7-pin here in the first frame. He's been a little light and a little tight. How about that one, Ed?
Looks good. Looks good.
10-pin is out of there.
We have a contrast in styles here right now, Fred. Andy's playing inside about the 13th board, and Vern is outside at about the 9th board.
Now, when you refer to boards for the bowlers in our audience, you're referring to the 9th and 13th board from where? Where are you?
Splice, at the dovetail, where the diamonds are.
At the splice. Yeah. Trying for the double. There it is. So Downing now takes the lead with the first double for him. Marzich started with 2. Actually, hasn't taken the lead yet. This thing's just about even as Marzich moves in on the right side. You'll notice Andy standing to the extreme left side of the approach. Plays a very deep angle. And he almost got the 5-7, leaves the 7-pin. So we do have a real contrast here in angles, with Vern playing about the second diamond, wouldn't you say, Ed?
Right. Second
and Andy's
diamond.
playing, that looked like it went a little left of the third.
He hit
pretty
about 14,
deep.
Fred, that time.
Pretty deep. 7-pin. Marzich covers. This fella had a great year on the PBA Tour in 1963. He won over $30,000. Won the St. Louis Open, the Denver Open, and the Boston Open. On the 64 Winter Tour, won $10,500. Great competitor. Oh, look at that. Chew 'em up. There's a great ball, the ball that Marzich is famous for. Strike in the 5th. That's 88 strike. Downing now has the chance to take the lead with another strike. This match practically even. Set it. He's got it. And that's 3. So at the end of 5, it's Marzich, 88 strike. Downing is 38 in the second. Works on 3. Vern Downing now moving in on the left side. Trying for 4. That'll have to move. Gets there. The 10-pin stops him. A little wide on that one.
Yes, he got very wide, and I thought he was a little bit fast also, Fred, on that ball.
He seemed to be outside of the second diamond. He must be playing the left side farther out than he is here on lane 26, which is we refer to as the right side.
26 is hooking, I would say, about 2 boards more than 25, Fred.
10-pin, cross lane, the cover. Downing stops at 3. So Marzich now needs this strike to get back in this match. Downing out in front. The margin, 9 pins. Marzich on a strike. This double will put it right back even. Sets it, and there it is. Well, that's a great angle when the ball goes solid, but he almost had the 5-7 from that angle. If you're a little thin, I guess you can get in trouble.
Well, that ball there, Fred, he hit the 14th board, and the one that he had the 5-7, he hit about 12, and was a little late getting back.
Andy now on 2. Will it be 3? Too high, couldn't kick the 4-7. Andy Marzich, the California Bowler of the Year in 1963, when he also won the Southern California Match Game title, the Los Angeles Match Game title, and that was the big year on the PBA Tour for Andy, winning over $30,000. The 4 and the 7 and the spare. So Vern Downing now, the former bank teller from San Pablo, California, near San Francisco. Vern used to bowl out of Fresno, California. Careful. Kick that 4 out. That's the old fudge nudger, and they call it. Are you acquainted with that?
Yes, that's that. What they call it, Fanny Farmer ball, full fudge.
Full fudge. Be careful. Al Savis pulled that on us a few years ago. They call it the fudge nudger when you can kick that 4-pin out. This match is practically even. There's 1 pin separating these two boys, and there's a double for Downing. You want to hear more from this fella. Vern Downing with a double now. He takes the lead back. The lead is seesawed all the way. Marzich got off with a double. Downing came back with a triple to take the lead by 1 pin. Then he lost a 10-pin between a triple and a double. So we'll go into the 9th on 2 as Marzich moves in the 8th then. Doesn't carry the 2-pin for a few seconds, but he finally got rid of it, and there were about 5 pins on the pin deck. Boy, the Angels were flying back there that time, Ed.
He sure had a little luck there, Fred. That's what you need, though, in this game.
Now, as they tell me, the real mark of a champion is to take advantage of a lucky break. Let's see what he can do with it. Will he make it good? Yes, sir. Beautiful. So Marzich, shaking his head, he knows he has a double on the scoreboard. As a matter of fact, that's his 3rd double in one game. Very unusual, really. Downing has had a triple, a solid 10, and a double, and he's here in the 9th, trying to get another triple. And that ought to be there. Solid 10-pin. There is no justice. Oh, I could feel that one.
Yeah, it's Marzich was shaking his head on that lucky strike. Just think what Vern's doing right now on that shot. Real good ball, Fred. Real good. I'd like to throw everyone in there when I needed it, just like that.
Well, this match is even again. Marzich got out in front, actually, with his double. Downing had a chance to get the lead back, but he left the 10-pin and converted the spare. So we go into the 10th frame, the first game of 3 on championship bowling from Akron, Ohio. Downing is 186, spare. Marzich, 156 in the 7th, working on 2. Downing will finish first. Well, there's the 4-6. We get right back to this, the mental effect of that solid 10-pin in the 9th for Downing. Now, Ed, you can back me up on this, that had he carried in the 9th, he certainly would have gone to the left with an entirely different frame of mind, wouldn't he?
Right, Fred.
He might never have done this. Or at least he'd have thrown a better ball, I would say.
Try to fit that ball because he left the 10-pin. He figured he better fit it, and then he got too high for the thing.
Well, there's the first open frame of the match. Vern Downing with a triple and a double and a wide open hole in the 10th for 212, and Marzich now has a chance to really get out in front with strikes in the 10th. He works on 2. Chance for 246. The first one. Got it. There again, getting a lucky strike, starting a string, also has an effect on you fellas, one way or the other. It's a letdown when you lose a good one on a string, and invariably the next ball, most of the time, as we sit here and watch it, very obvious to us. that bad ball will come after a bad break. Then good balls, as Andy has shown us here, good strike balls will come after a rather fortunate break. I think he's going to get another one.
A little wide.
Nope, 4-pin. So Andy, with still a chance for bonus money, unable to get that one. He needed that one and one more for 5 in a row, but he'll finish with 235. 2 doubles and a triple. Shot at a 4-pin, shot at a 7-pin, and a 4-7, and this the 4-pin in the 10th. Andy Marzich with 235, Vern Downing with 212. Championship bowling. This is Fred Wolf along with Ed Bourday with the greatest bowlers in action here on Championship Bowling from the Firestone Lanes, the rubber capital of the world. Here are the scores for the first game. Vern Downing, 212. For Andy Marzich, 235. The margin, 22 pins. No bonus money in the first game. We're looking forward to the bonus money in the second or the third. Are you ready, Akron, for the second game? Vern Downing starting the second game of 3. Championship bowling from Akron, Ohio. We'll pick up the difference here. 235 for Marzich, 212 for Downing. The difference is 23 pins. Andy Marzich out in front. Downing throws. He's right back in that pocket. Boy, he'd have liked that one in the 10th instead of that 4, 6, 7. He had a triple. He left a solid 10 in the 6th. He came back with 2, left a solid 10 in the 9th, and then the wide open split in the 10th. Andy Marzich, who had 2 doubles and a triple, deep inside, brings it back, carries in the first frame. Andy will tell you that Hank Lauman was a great help many years ago to getting Andy started on a very successful career in this great sport. Still a close friend of his. Andy's mother and father were born in Yugoslavia. He has 2 brothers and a sister. None of them bowl. Look at here. Oh, he dropped that one right in the pocket. I see a look of guilt there, Ed.
I don't know. It's not how. It's how many, I think, isn't it, Fred?
Well, at least he did have a guilty look on his face.
Well, he isn't giving it back, though, is he?
No, I guess there's some rule in ABC sanctioned competition. You can't give them back. One more for Downing. All right. Well, the boys are really flying here. Downing now starts with 2. Marzich got a great break in the 8th frame on a rolling strike, pins rolling all over the pin deck. He came back with 2 solid strikes to give him 230, and right against that, Downing buried one, leaving the 10-pin on a double. This was after he lost a 10-pin on a triple in the 6th. So Downing has made one mistake, actually, the 4, 6, 7 in the 10th frame of the first game. Oh, come on, boy. Got a lot of action in the left side there. Pin went right through the channel, didn't touch the 7. A bad break, Ed.
Yes, sir. He threw a real good rolling ball. Even though he was a little bit light, Fred, he got out of that ball real good. Had them pins really jumping around.
Vern Downing, unable to string them out. There's another double for him. The 7-pin, he covers. You know, religious faith builds spiritual and moral character, both for the individual and for the community. Worship with your family at the church or temple of your choice this week. Andy Marzich goes for 3. Right there. Well, I don't know, Ed. They tell me if you keep hitting the pocket, something's got to happen, and then this fella just keeps hitting it. That's all.
Well, Andy has taken advantage of both breaks that he's got. That light one and that ball he dropped, he's made at least 3 strikes out of every one that he's got.
Well, the one he more or less dropped in the pocket in the 2nd frame has made this a triple. Now, he must be thinking of that here in the 4th. Let's see what he does with it. It's there. 4-pin stops him. Just a bit tight. Looked pretty good.
Very good ball, Fred. Should have dropped it, I guess.
So he's given one of them back.
Yeah, you don't keep them too long sometimes.
Andy was a member of the 1964 American Bowling Congress Team Classic champions. They set an all-time record in Oakland, California in '64. There's the cover, along with teammates that you see here on Championship Bowling from Akron, Ohio: Billy Whalou, Jimmy St. John, Harry Smith. Who else was on that team, Ed? I'm going to forget. Glenn Allison.
Dick Hoover.
And Dick Hoover. Great organization.
A little wide.
Well, he got a break. Downing had that one way out there. Could have had the 1-2-10. Got away lucky with nothing but the 2-pin. Vern Downing. Both these boys started as pin boys. Andy, when he was around 15 years of age, used to set pins after school. At 17, he was averaging 200. That was at the Hawthorne Bowl out in California. There's the cover. And in '62, some years later, was one of the big stars in the National Bowling League and a teammate of Ed Bourdais.
That's right, Fred. We had a real good team.
We're in the 5th. Downing throw. Back in that pocket, and we see another solid 10. Well, it seems as though speed is what is leaving the 10 for Downing, because Marzich is getting a little kick over there in the corner, isn't he?
Yes. Vern's a little bit further outside, and I think one of the things that's leaving that, Fred, is he's coming in back of the pocket just a little bit late, whereas Andy's more straighter at the 1-3 from the inside angle.
Vern Downing with a spare in the 5th. He's 87 spare. Started with 2, 3 1-pin spares, a 7-pin, the 2-pin, and the 10-pin. Marzich started with 3, left a solid 4. We're now in the 5th as he tries to start the string again. And he's right back in there. Oh, he buried that one. He's got a great angle here on the right side.
Real good.
Very deep. At the end of 5, Marzich is 99 on a strike. Downing, 87 on a spare. We're in the second half, 6th frame of the second game. Andy Marzich, Los Angeles, California, leading by 35 pins. 4-9. They're both out of there. Well, I guess we got to chalk up number 3, don't we, Ed?
It's got to be the greatest, Fred.
Got to be the greatest. Well, look at Andy shaking his head. And poor Vern just lost a solid 10 in the 5th on the same lane. Looked like the 4-9, the 4 fell, and just nudged the 9. Downing,
A little light.
now a bit unnerved, I'm sure, leaves the 1-2-8. Vern is probably wondering, how come?
There's no other way.
I'm a good kid, too. So Marzich off to a great start, 235 the first game, and he's sitting on a big one. Triple, 4-pin, and a double. The 1-2-8 for Vern Downing, covered beautifully, as the AMF Sparemaker indicated. You know, to improve your score and to learn this game faster, get more enjoyment out of your bowling, the AMF Sparemaker shows you how to convert even the most difficult spare. Get in on the great fun of bowling. They tell me. We're in the 7th. Look out. Solid 10. And that's the name of the game.
Well, he's just, I would say, Fred, being outside the way he is, he's coming in back of the pocket a little bit late, and that's the reason for this 10-pin standing. And then he's coming back and then trying to jam the ball into the pocket to carry it, and then that's what got him that split in the 10th frame of the first game.
Well, now, the average viewer might say to you, Ed, well, why doesn't he move in where Andy Marzich is playing? Play that inside angle.
He doesn't throw the same type of ball that Andy throws. Andy's floats his a little bit more.
In other words, he can't go in there.
Right.
Well, let's take a look. Vern Downing now is 123 with a spare in the 7th as Marzich steps in here in the 7th, working on a big double. to get it up there. The 7-pin stops Marzich. Started with 3. Lost a 4-pin. Back with 2, a 7-pin in the 7th, and that bonus department, pretty hard to get to this weekend.
Well, they can have the bonus if I could shoot 235 the first game.
You wouldn't worry about it, eh?
No, not too much.
At the 7-pin, Marzich covers. So Andy moves to the left. Marzich has a lot of room for 258. Downing still can get to 230. The top 2 scorers for 2 appearances will be our finalists. Be careful. Too high, broke it up, 6-10. That's the first one Andy's had out of there in a long time. He's had the 4-7, actually. That's as high as he has been. Had a 4-pin, a 7-pin, a 4-7, and a 4-pin the first game. This game, nothing but a 4 and a 7. That's the first time he's hit the nose, Andy.
Yes, and he didn't go through that ball the way he has.
Vern Downing now from San Pablo, California. A great trout fisherman, much like, I believe, Ed Bourdet.
Right.
You're a great fisherman, Ed.
Right.
Come on, get up. 10-pin out. Nice little nudge there. Now, what do you think about, Ed, when you get up here, knowing you've put 2 in the pocket, knee deep, and you've left 2 solid 10s? Do you change anything?
I don't, Fred. I wouldn't. You've got to hit the pocket no matter what you do. You've got to hit that pocket.
I can't watch it. Oh, he got it out of there. Now, do you think there was any change of angle or speed on that ball in comparison to his other 2 solid 10s
I
on the
thought
same
that
side?
ball, Fred, was just a wee bit slower.
Slower. And I thought I noticed that. We're in the 9th. Andy Marzich. Andrew John doesn't get up there this time. The 2-5, and Andy's beginning to fish a bit. He was high, now he is short. 2-5. This one keeps you busy. The spare maker indicates the ball between the 2 pins, the 2 and the 5. He's left of center, throws it out, and look out. Made it going away. Well, Andy missed his mark, but it looks pretty good on the score sheet, as you mentioned a bit ago, Ed.
Right.
Marzich, 184 spare. He will bowl out first. Downing still has a chance to pull this game out of the fire. He trailed by 23 pins going into the second game. Watched Marzich get away with a triple, a spare, and a double. Downing lost 2 solid 10s, sits on the double. Andy is short again, the 2-4-5. And the magician has suddenly lost his pocket here.
But it looks like he's rushing himself. He's up there ahead of the ball, and he's short with his swing, and that's why it's not coming up to the pocket.
Well, he split that one. So Marzich now with a full count, 221. That'll give him 456 for 2. Fine opportunity for a big total. It takes 2 good ones. Marzich in the 10th. Back in the pocket for 221. 221. Andy has not had an open frame. That's pretty consistent. Vern Downing now with a chance, a big chance. This is a big strike for Vern. Get it up there. There it is. Well, Mr. Marzich is going to have to do some thinking, because I think that Vern is going to close the gap here a bit. Vern still has a chance for bonus money if he gets this one. And the full count, he'll have 5 strikes in a row. Come on, boy. There we are, the first 4-bagger of the match. That's the first time we have had 4 strikes in a row, and we've had a lot of doubles and triples. But that's the first time for 4. One more strike, $250. Let's see, Ed, if we can kick that 10-pin out of there. $250 on this carry. Never. the window. Well, that ball got a little heavy, I'm sure, for Downing, 232, for Marzich, 221. Championship bowling from Akron, Ohio. Fred Wolf, along with Ed Bourdet. Every week you see the world's greatest bowlers in action at the Firestone Lanes in Akron, Ohio, the home of the Professional Bowlers Association. The third and final game, championship bowling from Akron, Ohio. Andy Marzich out in front with 456. Vern Downing, 444. The margin, 12 pins. Both boys off to great starts. Marzich, 235 and 221. Downing, 212 and 232. $1,000 goes to the winner. Total pins, of course, very important. Marzich covers the 4 pin. Looks like he stuck a little bit there, Ed, on the approach.
He's having a little trouble with the left side of the spares, Fred.
So Vern Downing, who has been trailing all the way, closing the gap up now. He trailed by as many as 48 pins in the 7th frame of the second game. He's cut that thing down to 12 pins. Never. He threw that last one out the window in the 10th, trying for the bonus money. Misses the head pin, the 1-2. Downing won the 1963 Riverside, California Tournament of Champions. It was a great finish on television. He averaged 229 for 25 games. The last 2 games were on television. And Downing defeated Buddy Horn with games of 257 and 267. And that's not bad. Do you remember anything about that tournament, Ed?
Oh, sir, I didn't make that tournament, but I heard quite a bit about it. It's tremendous bowling, Fred.
Both boys with spares in the first frame. 9 frames to go. With only 12 pins separating these 2 boys, it can go either way. A break here or a break there. We'd have to say that Downing has had the toughest breaks. He's lost 3 or possibly 4 solid 10 pins. Be careful. The nose, the 310. He didn't want that one. Downing won around $3,000 on the '64 winter tour of the PBA. His best was a 3rd place finish in the Hialeah Open in Florida. Come on. Nice shot. The 310. Oh, you've got to pick those 310s up and those tough spares. There's only been 1 open frame in the match thus far. Downing had it in the 10th frame of the first game, and that just could be the difference. Marzich dropped it. It got too high, and he broke it up to 4-7.
And he seems to have lost his timing, Fred. He isn't getting up to that foul line with the ball the way he had been. He's now that ball he dropped. Previous game he was ahead of 3 straight shots.
The 4 and the 7. Be careful. Oh! We're all tied at the end of 2. 18 spare for each man. Andy Marzich from Los Angeles resides in Redondo Beach. Vern Downing from San Francisco, out of San Pablo, California. Here we come. Oop, that ball suddenly didn't get there. The 2-4-5, and Marzich has really lost his line.
Yes, he's lost his timing, Fred. I think that's the biggest. I think he hasn't changed his speed any. It's just his timing is very bad at the foul line.
Two, 4, 5, the cover. Vern Downing now can pick up 3 pins, at least in counts, with a strike to go on here in the 3rd. And counts may prove the difference here of winning or losing. $1,000 to the winner, $500 to the runner-up. That'll get there. The 10 pin again. I noticed that Vern, Ed, is one of the boys that puts that pinky, the little finger, up on top of the ball. Do you do that?
No.
You don't do that?
No, sir. I tried it and forget it. There's no way.
There's no way. Well, some of the boys must like it. I see
Yes.
Dick Weber does it. Well, there's quite a few of them. The 10-pin Downing covers. So Vern picked up 2 pins. The margin is now 10 pins, 7 frames to go. Looking for our first strike. That ought to get there. Solid 10, the name of the game.
With me on that shot, he reached real good that time. Fred, he reached out real good, had that good speed. I thought he was going to carry it, but there it is again.
Well, let's see. Downing had a triple going in the first game. He left a solid 10 in the 6th frame. He come back with a double, which could have been 6 in a row, then left a solid 10 in the 9th, which would have been 7 in a row. Reverse that one. In the second game, he had solid 10 pins in the 5th. In the 7th, he has had 2 10 pins this game. As Marzich moves in the 4th frame and leaves the 4-pin. It's hard to figure. First 2 games, we had doubles and triples. Here we've gone 4 frames, and we haven't had 1 strike. The 4-pin, Andy Marzich. 3-finger ball, fingertip. Has the spare. At the end of 4, Marzich 54 spare, Downing 56 spare. The margin, 10 pins. 6 frames to go. Pretty hard to pick a winner here. Come on. There's the kicker, the 5-7. And another Marzich strike, and a look of guilt on Andy's face as he looks up here at Ed Bourdain. He's saying, well, what are you going to do?
I have a name for him, Fred. I call him Hector the Garbage Collector.
Hector the Garbage Collector. Well, Vern Downing now. Not another 10-pin, Vern. Come on, boy, that's it. Well, Vern is waiting him out, boy. You just don't dare look away because that 10-pin keeps jumping up there. So at the end of 5 frames to go. Marzich is 74 strike. Downing is 76 strike. Five frames to go. 10 pins separating Marzich and Downing. Here's Downing. He trails by 10. He's on a strike. He needs this one, and he kicks the 10-pin out of there, and this match is all even. Downing has finally caught Marzich. Of course, Andy has the chance to match that one. Downing getting his double in the 6th. Andy is bowling in the 6th. But Marzich needs this one, or he's going to find that 48-pin lead completely wiped out. Will it be? There it is. Solid 10, and the worm is turned. I believe that's about the first solid 10-pin wrap that Andy has had.
Right? It's the first one, Fred. He's been
As a
carrying
matter of
quite a
fact,
few.
it's the first 10-pin that he shot at, be it solid or in between. First 10-pin for Marzich. Wonder if he knows how to make it. Yeah, got it. So Andy now will move to the left, and we have 4 frames to go, and this match is practically even. Of course, the count that Downing comes up with in the 7th will be the difference. There's an 8-pin count, and that's got to help Vern Downing if he can fill the frame. Andy says when he's bowling good, he works out constantly. If he's in a slump, he just quits bowling for a couple of weeks. You approve of that, Ed?
Yes, Fred.
He also had a quote a year or 2 ago that has been published and makes a lot of sense. Come on, boy. All right, he's got it. Andy said, and he was quoted, that the modern bowling lanes where youth must learn to get along with adults is an excellent training ground for citizenship and good manners. And how true that is. Bowling is great for everyone.
hurry.
Downing's got to hurry. He doesn't get there. Leaves the bucket to 2-4-5-8. That's a 6-pin count. And that leaves Marzich out in front. And here's a tough shot. There was the big ball for Vern Downing. The AMF Sparemaker indicates the ball between the 2 and the 5, and he better hurry. He got there and converted. So here's a real cliffhanger. We go into the 8th frame. The margin is only 2 pins. Marzich has them. Both boys have lost 8 pins and counts this game. Any prediction here, Ed, at all?
Vern, I think right now is rolling the ball better than Andy is. Vern looks pretty good right now, even though that bad shot he just made.
Here it comes. There it is. There's a big one. So Marzich must pay attention. Downing is on a strike. Dig it. There it is. Boy, look at the pins on that pin deck. So we go into the 9th frame. The margin is 2 pins. Both boys have room for bonus money. They both must go all the way. Marzich trying to hang on to 2 pins. If he doesn't get this one, Downing can take the lead with a strike. If he gets this one, Downing must match it. Will it be? It will be. There's another one. The 5-7 still up there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pins on the pin deck. 2 in a row, and Andy's shaking his head.
Hector's back.
Hector's back. Now Downing must match it. To keep it at 2 pins, we're going to go into the 10th frame and flip the coin. A break here or a break there. We mentioned that earlier, and Marzich got 2 breaks in a row. No 10-pin. There it is. 10-pin again. And that's about all that stops Downing is the 10-pin. That's his 7th 10-pin, Ed.
Yes.
On all pretty good hits. Now Downing will finish first. So Marzich will know exactly what he needs. Vern converts this one and doubles in the 10th. Andy will have to get a good count and a spare. 2-12 all the way for Downing. Will force Marzich to shoot 2-0-1. But Downing must go all the way. There's the first one. Well, it's been the story of the 10-pin all the way, Ed. He just kind of pushed that one out of there, too.
Well, he was a little bit, again, I think a little bit slower, and that was carried that 10-pin, Fred.
Now, if Vern gets this one, this can be a great finish. Marzich will need 9 pins on his first ball, a spare, and a full count if Downing goes all the way. Now, this strike, of course, is the big one. But the count is going to be more important. Get it out of there. Another 10-pin. Well, that makes 8 of them. 10-pin Downing, we can call him. 2-0-2 with 1, 2, 3, 4 10-pins. Two the first game, 2 the second game, and 4 in the third game. 2-0-2. So that's 6-46 for Vern Downing. Marzich going in with 4-56. There's no doubt about that. He really clutched that one. Marzich now still has room for bonus money. We haven't paid out any bonus money this week. Both boys have had a crack at it. Downing had 4 and then threw one wide. Marzich is on 3. Andy did not have an open frame. Downing had 1 open frame, the 10th frame of the first game. One more. Solid 10. Well, the 10-pin's been real rough here this week, Ed.
Yes, sir, it sure has. All of a sudden here, they bowled real good the first 2 games, and all of a sudden the 10-pin, Fred.
At the 10, Marzich, 211. 211. We'll check these totals, have a word or two with these two fine, great stars. This is Championship Bowling, television's #1 bowling show from the Firestone Lanes in Akron, Ohio, where the World Series of Golf is played annually. Here are the scores for Vern Downing, 212, 232, and 202 for a total of 646. For Andy Marzich, 235, 221, and 211, the total 667. The winner is Andy Marzich by 21 pins. Did you enjoy that one, ladies and gentlemen? You didn't enjoy it, Vern, at all.
Not too much, really.
You know, you had, I believe, we counted 8 10-pins.
I can believe that.
You can believe that.
The match was decided, though, really not on the 10 pins I left, but on the one ball that I made a bad mistake on my favorite lane, and it cost me at least 25 pins. Because you figure your good lane, you want to strike out on. Well, I threw one right through the nose, and...
that was in the 10th frame of the first game.
And that's the lane I chose to finish on, too.
There's $500 for your...
Thank you.
Misfortune. And to you, Andy, $1,000. You may take it. If you're guilty, I know Ed Bourdain said if he takes that $1,000, he's going to come down here and take it away from you. He thought you were a little fortunate. Now, I just wonder how you feel.
Well, I think Vern could have had a lot more.
How about you?
I'm happy.
You're happy. I'm only kidding. Well, you boys got good totals with your next 3 games. When you meet a different opponent, we could see possibly both of you here in the finals.
Well, that wouldn't be too bad.
Would you like that, Vern?
I'd love it.
Good luck. How about it, Akron? Let's give him a right hand. Now, don't go away. We're going to have another visit with Esther Woods. Most men use a 16-pound ball. Now, that's the maximum weight allowed by the American Bowling Congress. Now, we get quite a few letters from the women asking about the bowling ball. Many of them feel that they would bowl if they didn't think that the ball was so darn heavy. Now, Esther Woods, one of the finest bowlers and instructresses in the country, is with us again this week on Championship Bowling to explain why a bowling ball isn't too heavy for any of you girls that would like to bowl. Esther?
Thank you, Fred, very much. Yes, you know, most ladies today won't even try to bowl because they actually think that the bowling ball is too heavy. But you know, the maximum weight of a bowling ball is 16 pounds. But you can still use a ball that weighs just 10 pounds. And with rhythm and timing and coordination and learning to handle that ball correctly, everybody can learn to bowl. I'd like to, at this time, bring in a couple of my pupils and let them show you just how easy it is. Girls, if you will, please, I'd like for you to run through the 4-step approach for me. Now, you know we've been working on this, and as you start with your right foot, I want the ball out in front of you, down to your side on 2, the ball swings into the backswing on 3, and as you reach the foul line with your left foot coming through, we'll roll the ball over the foul line. All right, now let's go. Out, down, back, and slide. That's very good. Now remember, you roll the ball, you don't throw it, because this is what makes for a nice, smooth bowler. Now, Paulie, if you will, I'd like for you to pick up your ball and run through this with the ball, get into your position, and throw that ball in a nice, smooth, even delivery. All right, here we go. Out, down, back, and roll. That's it, Paula. You see, with good timing and rhythm and coordination, that makes the ball seem almost weightless. Thank you very much, Paula.
Well, it seems as though the girls and you, Esther, have made it look very easy.
Well, it is easy, Fred, and if everybody would realize that any instructor in any bowling establishment can prove this, all they have to do is call on that instructor and he'll help them and show them how easy it is.
And it's a lot of fun, too.
Yes, it is.
It's very, very true. It's a lot of fun, girls. And Esther, I want to thank you very much for appearing here on Championship Bowling, and we'll see you again very soon.
Thank you, Fred.
Thank you. Esther Woods. Sure hope you can join us again next week here on Championship Bowling, television's #1 bowling show from the Firestone Bowl-A-Rama lanes in Akron, Ohio. Championship Bowling with the world's greatest bowlers, over $70,000 in prizes. So until next week, this is Fred Wolf just saying, keep 'em bowling out there.
Matching shirts and slacks used on Championship Bowling by King Louie. Championship Bowling is sanctioned by the American Bowling Congress, and we wish to thank AMF for their cooperation in helping us to produce Championship Bowling.